It was President Barack Obama that said that reading is important. If you learn to read, the whole world opens up to you. I believe that President Obama was speaking from personal experience. How does one explain that a young African American rose up, took the world by storm, and became the very first African American president? What was his secret? Hi, I'm Gozie Okure. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, we discuss books and how to leverage reading for success in life. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you can give me a thumbs up, that would be amazing. In today's video, we'll be discussing the #1 tip for raising bookworms. What is the #1 tip if you want to raise bookworms in this side of the world? In my last video, I made a big deal of the fact that if you want to raise bookworms, you must model reading. And that's a valid point because children mimic or they copy what they see their parents do. So if you want to raise bookworms, you must make sure that you read books. You must make sure that your children see books in your hands, and you will talk about books, the books you're reading, and how beautiful it is to read books. Children should hear parents talk about the importance of reading books if they want their children to read. Now, having said that, and all the other tips I mentioned in that video on how to raise bookworms, I just want to say to them that the very first tip, the #1 tip to raising bookworms in this side of the world, in our own side of the world, the #1 tip for raising bookworms is visiting bookshops regularly. It's for parents to visit bookshops. I know that parents in this side of the world, many parents do not read books, and part of the problem is not because they can't read books. Part of the problem is that a lot of them have not seen books that resonate with them. In one of my recent videos, I talked about the woman that met me in social media, found out that she enjoyed reading my posts, and she went to the bookshop and picked my books. That woman eventually became a bookworm. She eventually began to read. Why? Because she visited a bookshop and picked the books. A lot of parents will ordinarily read books if they see them, but because a lot of them do not have it in their consciousness, a lot of people do not have it in their plans, visiting bookshops and looking around to see new books and new authors, right? They hardly have books in their homes to read. And that's why I think that it is very commendable that as parents you visit bookshops regularly. I remember visiting a bookshop years ago with my husband. We didn't go with any particular book in mind. We just wanted to visit the bookshop and to see new books and new titles. As we were there, my husband saw a book by Joyce Meyer titled Me and My Big Mouth, and he bought it. And reading that book, Me and My Big Mouth by Sister Joyce Meyer, opened the doors for me to read several of her other books because I found out that her style of writing resonated with me. So I ended up buying a lot of her other books, and her books really impacted my life so positively. Now, it was still in that visit that I found a Yonggi Cho book titled Positional Praying, and I bought that book, and I can't tell you how much that book impacted my prayer life. Now, what if I didn't visit that bookshop that day? I may not have seen these books to read, and they might not have impacted my life the way they did. So that's why I said that visiting bookstores, visiting bookshops or libraries, for places where they have libraries, okay, visiting bookstores and libraries often is a very powerful tip, because it is when you visit these places that you can see the books that will impact your life as a parent, and then see the books that you can buy for your children. When my children were growing up, they were surrounded by books. I bought board books, I bought bedtime stories, I bought Aesop's fables, bought illustrated Bible stories, different types of educational videos for their age, and then I bought building blocks and games for children. Without visiting bookstores, where would I have seen those books to buy? So it's as you go and visit bookstores and look around that you can get all these books to buy. That's why I want to encourage every parent listening to me. It's a powerful thing, it's a wonderful thing to visit eateries, which is what a lot of parents do here. We carry our children to eateries and we buy them food. Good, you can buy those ones for your children. How about incorporating visiting the bookshop as part of that visit, right? Why don't you go out with the children and do as if it's a picnic? You visit the bookstores and then you come out at the eateries. That way it will be balanced. You would have bought something that will feed their mind and then feed their body. A lot of children are fed fat with burgers and meat pies and all that. But the truth is that every single child will read when presented with the right books. Same with the adults. That's why J.K. Rowling says that a person who does not like to read has not found the right books. When you see the right books, you will read. And there's no way you can see the right books if you don't visit bookstores. That's why I think that visiting bookstores is the #1 secret, is the #1 tip to raising bookworms in this side of the world. It is when we don't visit bookstores, when we don't buy the books for the children to read, right kind of educational blogs and that to engage children, and we put the screen in their hands, we put cartoons and we put home videos to engage them, because children must be engaged. I continue to say that engaging the minds of the children with cartoons and screens is not the very best, because you see, the human mind does not have the capacity to hold many passions at the same time. So if the mind of a child, if the interest of the child is captivated by the screen, it will be very difficult for that child to give his best in his academics, okay? So that's why it's so important that you put books into the hands of your children. And you know, when parents come to complain to me, like right now, I am organizing webinars for parents on how to give their children a reading culture. And the question I get most times when I hold those webinars is, what do I do? My children do not love to read. And my question is usually, what books do they have available? And most times the books that they are complaining that the children do not love to read are their school books. What they don't know is that children associate school books with work. They associate them with pain. They do not love to read a lot of school books. But on the contrary, if they take them to bookstores and they buy books, allow the children to pick the kind of books that captivates their interest, the kind of books that is in line with their interest and their passion. If children buy the kind of books they love to read, they will be able to read. And the beautiful thing is that when they begin to read consistently, they become bookworms, and it reflects in their academics, because anything and everything you give to them, they'll be able to read it and they'll be able to do them very well. So by this video today, I'm encouraging every parent listening to me, create time and take your children to the bookshops, okay? Take them to bookstores, allow them to pick the kind of books they want to read. And you know, it will cost you money. But the truth is that a lot of parents love to spend money on capital projects. You want to buy houses, you want to buy cars, you want to buy everything. While those are very good, acquiring all those things are very good, I think it's so important that you put the relevant books in the hands of your children. Give him a reading habit. That's why I encourage you to go with them, visit bookstores, let them walk around. Let them walk around in the bookstores, look at the books, and allow them to dream. Yes, allow them to dream. You never know that visiting the bookstores with your young children can plant a dream in their heart to one day author their own books, okay? So do that and you will see that your children will become bookworms, and once they become bookworms, every other thing becomes easy with their success in life. Just like Obama said, that reading is a gateway skill that makes every other learning possible. Once the children are able to pick interest in reading, once they acquire the love for reading, once they become bookworms, they can learn anything to become whatsoever they desire to be in life. Thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful video. I want you to please subscribe to my channel if you've not done so, and give me a thumbs up. Until I come your way next time, remain richly blessed.